láyé olúgbọ́n mo ké borùn méje ẹ ò máa kọ yí lórin láyé àrẹ̀sà mo ké borùn mẹ́fà ẹ ò máa kọ yí lórin láyé ìsẹ̀yìn èmi ra kókò mo ra rán mo ra sányán bàbá sọ àfọ̀lẹ́ ló lè pélé.
Hello everyone, my name is Ademo Adegbemiga Ganiu and I welcome you all to my new Yoruba Abrahamic YouTube video. Today I want to talk in breakdown of what Negroland mean, the Yoruba people's history in Negroland and their collective from the political and Abrahamic view of it in details. And it's been, like I said in my previous video, Negro is actually the same name or the title as Niger or Nago or Negritis or Anago, and has always been one of the earliest Yoruba people's identity from the political outlook. And from the different pre-colonial journals record and from few of different anthropologists' remarks, these same Negro people are people lineage of confederation, like a collective group of ethnic lineage directly from Ile-Ife, particularly from today's southwest of Nigeria, who did earlier extended the migrational settlements across today's Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Ghana, part of Gambia, part of Sierra Leone, part of Senegal, part of Ivory Coast, and those that were all also enslaved in America and also in Caribbean island during the transatlantic slave trade. And that is not so to take away the fact that some of these same Negro were already living in the New World before the slave trade even came to pass. So try and imagine an ancient African, or try and imagine an ancient West African region without the colonial borders today, whereby these different Yoruba groups lives among within the same, without political structure that makes them look different, still speak the same one direct Yoruba language without French or English colonial new languages which they adopted after invasion, and still now collectively identify as one body of a nation under the rulership of Ile-Ife of Odirisha throne, the utmost ruler. I bet it is fair to say that the Yoruba people were indeed more than a tribe, but rather a nation that is fit to dominate the entire continent of Africa by default and some part of Europe. As a matter of fact, the collective dominance of these Yoruba lineage people across West Africa through political and economical influences in the region also did resulted to why the entire West Africa was also given the name, or should I say was named after the Yoruba people, or was built around the Yoruba people's ideology or a system right from the 11th century to the 20th century as Negro or Negritis and Nago and Niogo or Mologo region, particularly from the very 1729 map, which also debuted as Negroland above the Guinea region. And for the record, this same Yoruba nation or group of lineage evidently remained the only tribe in Africa and also in the entire Africa collectively who has 3 different unique distinct civilization and empire that is even within today's Nigeria, let alone if we include the one outside today's Nigeria like the Dahomey, the Ile-Ife Empire, the Oyo Empire, the Benin civilization through Oromiyan from Ife, from Oyo, and also alongside the Dahomey and so many other ones, which basically indicated that the Yoruba people's dominance across West Africa was extremely massive in antiquity, because an empire is beyond just a kingdom or a local village. We are talking about empires. So, and even through the Oyo, and even though these empires were bigger, among these 3 empires, where the unique one or the outstanding one was actually from Oyo, because the Oyo Empire is always being underreported, even after so many archaeological and findings have made it clear that Oyo Empire was so massive. We have the likes of the traditional Isheshe, which the Olumek, the traditional Yoruba of Isheshe, which the Olumek Negro in Mesoamerica, probably before even the transatlantic trade, they also indicated that these Negro were actually the followers of Oyo Shango, that they honor Shango, one man bought Shango in ancient America. And this was known through the Mende script writing that was discovered around the Yucatan region of America. We also have the culture of the Central African people that was also greatly influenced by the same Shango Alaafin of Oyo through the Igi Shango or Igi Shango bone, a bone which is said to be 22,500 years, much older than the entire civilizations of the ancient Egyptians collectively, and which also said to be the first of its kind that actually gave birth to what we know today as mathematical, which basically means the Oyo is not just civilized. Akíṣebí Ọ̀yọ́ láàrí, Ọ̀yọ́ kìí ṣe bí bàbá ẹnìkan is an idiomatical expression that actually said they were forced to reckon with in antiquity because they were extremely intelligent, civilized beyond what anyone can comprehend. So this one until today, Oyo town is still in Central Africa. They are still known by some of the places were even still renamed after the ancient Oyo West African native name, because the Oyo was earlier known as Katunga. They are still bearing Katunga. They have refused to change. So we have so many similarities, and that also indicated that the Oyo civilization took over the entire place, influences them. That doesn't mean they don't have their own culture, or maybe they are no more of the Oyo people that actually settled there. We also have the Shangai dynasty from the same Oyo Alaafin through the first black founder of China, leading to why the pre-Asian letter of those places, of those Asian region, the letter, the writing also have has direct interpretation and etymological correlations with the ancient Yoruba and Benin word collectively in breakdown. This is no more a news. You can go and find out. We also have the likes of the utmost god known as the Hamun, which was also titled as the Zeus Amun, an attribute to a thunder god with the feature of the same Oyo Alaafin who uses thunder as a real flesh human being, not a myth now, which from the Greek historical perspective, which also make them, because the Greek were the first Europeans and also the first intellectual that came into Africa to learn, to have their education within the Nubian region. And these Greeks were actually the one who also testified that everything we see, like the case of that they are trying to say, most of the legacy they are portraying as God in regards to their deity God over there, Zeus, Hermes, Poseidon, all those things. They say these are false gods. They claim it is written in the book of Homer, the first poetic Greek historian or writer, that claiming that all these Zeus stuff were actually false gods, but the initial foundation, the realistic figure of those people actually took place in ancient Ethiopian land. And we know for sure which the Ethiopian they were actually references to, because you can see the reference to the original Black Ethiopian from the book of the Black Ethiopian book of Aaron Robertson, that they said the real Ethiopian. Likewise, why the Atlantic Ocean in Yoruba land across West Africa used to also known as Ethiopia. So the Greeks were basically references to the ancient Ethiopian, which are the Yoruba. So, and they were actually saying the whole ideology behind their goddesses were actually inspiration or a replica or something that was the concept was taken from the Yoruba people, and the legacy reaches the likes of the Egypt then before they also exploited it. That is how the legacy. So aside from all this, the Yoruba people did dominate West Africa for sure, and the whole your lineage group of people were more outstanding, even up to the point that their presence of political influence infiltrated the Assyrian Empire, just like as it is said in the book of Rufo-Window and the Deuteronomy between the 500 AD to 1500 AD above Guinea. And so we have difference of them. The Oyo people were unique people. We are all Yoruba people. This is not to say that I'm not from Oyo. I'm just saying it based on what history and some of the findings indicated that these people did migrate out of Oyo, because whatever they did, they are still also uplifting the glory of the Yoruba people. So I have no reason to be praising one ethnic side of Yoruba. That we are all the same thing, but the truth has to be said the way it is. In a nutshell, the your people's dominance across West Africa obviously influenced why all today's Nigerian political colony of the British became the heartbeat of all African strength, African civilization, like the first this in Africa, first that in Africa, populational concentration in Africa, why Nigeria itself was even named as the most dominant black nation in the world, the political strength of it in the continent, why the whole civilization, the part of the everything comes from West Africa, then spread. So it is not by default. And this also justifies why the entire West African region had to be named after the same Yoruba people, Aniogo of Ile-Ife. Other names are the likes of the Sudan, Lamlem, Negritia, and also Negroland. So let's talk about the Nigerian to be precise. I mean the European establishment called Nigerian that we see today, which also happens to be the black's most population nation in the entire universe, whereby Ibadan also stand out as the greatest city ever in the entire Africa. It is safe to say that Flora Shaw, who happens to be a British journalist in the year 1897, in A White Dream, or in the London article, was actually inspired to something actually inspired her to actually giving the British Protectorate region the name Nigeria. This is what people don't pay attention to. Due to the significant influences and the indigenization of the ancient Yoruba people in the entire space called Niger or Naga, it's so natural that Flora Shaw was actually inspired to give the name, the colony where the Yoruba people stays, at the heartbeat of all Negro, the term Nigeria. For the record, and for those who probably don't know about the origin of this word Nigeria, let me put it in breakdown. Niger was derived from Negro, or should I say Niger is the same as Negro. And Negro was also taken from Anago, and Anago can sometimes be shortened to Nago, like the historical account I gave in pre-colonial books. And this Anago was in reference to Omologo or Omaniogo, which also happens today to be an alternative name to the ancient Yoruba people. There is also the idea of Niger or Negro territory, because the Negro territory was the mark, or should I say the starting of the Negro Empire or Negro territory, where the main Negro people started from today's Nigeria, southwest of Nigeria. And started from the southwest of inside Nigeria, where the Yoruba people of the main Negro dwelt, and passes through the river Niger, which is better known as River Ephraim in antiquity, down to where different Yoruba people migrated to within the mark or the trail of the river Niger, like the Dahomey, the Ghana, the Togo. These are where the Yoruba people from southwest of Nigeria extended the migration to. So the river Niger is actually an indication of where the Negro majority dwelled in ancient time. And today's Nigeria being the root homeland of all Negro, the heartbeat of Niger had to be put together with the idea of land to become Niger land or Negro land, or in a Yoruba word, Ile Awon Aniogo or Ile Awon Anago. And today, Niger land eventually became Niger People's Area or Niger Area. This is what brought about, which was represented the name Nigeria. Nigeria was taken from Niger People's Area, which is Aniogo People's Area, where the majority Anago, Aniogo, or Negro peoples, their center, which is why Ibadan was actually the largest Negro city in the world. So it was all named on the back of these Yoruba people, because they were actually the most ancient in that land, and who has so many strengths of lineage that sprang out of them to redominate the whole places uniformly. Therefore, from the Abrahamic lens, it's not also a coincidence that the biblical Messiah known as Iye Eshu, Awa, or Yeshua, better understood among the indigenous Negro people as Eshu, Olailu, Orisha, among the indigenous. Also, him and his people were also dubbed as the Negro teachers, Olùkọ́ láti ilẹ̀ Aníògo, teachers from the Negroland, because they were actually Negro, they were actually Anago, they were actually Yoruba. Eshu is a Yoruba figure. It's a Yoruba figure among the Yoruba deities in Yoruba tradition within Isheshe. This is exactly what the Torah was referencing to when he said these are Negro, and we understood that the brother of Yeshua, Simeon, was the one who, you shall understand, this is exactly what Negro means, and they were actually identifying with their tribe originality or any within the Yoruba people space. And also why it is also shouldn't be a surprise either that Judah's kingdom is still under the terrain of Ile-Ife kingdom beyond modern day Nigeria, which in antiquity. A reference to this can also be cited in the case study of Peningam in Peningam textbook in 1827, saying and ascertaining that the original Jewish did settle at the coastal region of West Africa, and they were all blacks. All Abrahamic narrative, culture, tradition were all the same people from the Negro as Eshu Olailu. This is why they all have the same ancestral lineage. This is also why the Bible, the Torah were saying these Orisha were people of just one tribe, not multi-tribe or multi-race, people of one tribe, and their legacy is embedded in their tradition, not laws, not religion, not a system. If you want to follow Yeshua, you have to be you have to be from the lineage or the tribe of Yeshua. If you want to follow Abraham, you have to be from the tribe of the Abraham, the lineage of Abraham, because Yeshua, Abraham, or all the prophets, they all came from one single tribe as a collective ethnic group of people. If you are not from that realm or related to them, please forget it. You are just wasting your time. That is for a fact. This is why he said that. This is why Yeshua said in Revelation that the Almighty did not send me to anybody. In Matthew, they only sent me to my tribe. If you are following me or carrying a cross in my name or in a way, you are just wasting your time. I don't know you. This is exactly what it means. So let's talk about the Negroland, or better known as the Yoruba land, collectively from the wider view as a Yoruba people who uniformly dominated West Africa in antiquity. If we are to talk about it, we should also not forget that Negroland, better known understood as Aníògo or Anago, or was earlier divided into 3 regions, and these were based on their productivity as subgroups and according to their land civilizational progressiveness as community. We have the likes of the number 1 coast of Negroland, like it is said in the Peningam textbook in 1827, which described the Judah kingdom people that they dwell at the coastal region of West Africa. So we have the coastal region area Negroland. We have the Sahel Negroland people, and we also have the Sahara part of the Negroland in Northeast Africa. Across Negroland, this Negro or the Yorubas as Jew from Judah land, better known as Ife, uniformly dwell in scattered location, like it is said in Zephaniah in the biblical text, where the Almighty was saying these people dwell in scattered location. He said that they dwell in scattered locations, and this was exactly what I meant. So they dwell in scattered location, and we have the record of them from different historical accounts that these people were either throughout West Africa in antiquity. Is either you are a Negro or you are a mixed Negro, directly or indirectly. And we have books which actually reported such. not just one, not just two, but let me go by just one here, which is by J.W. Godfrey in 1900, a report work of the Commission, the Jewish Territorial Organization in United States, who detailed about the ancient account of how this Jew from Judah Kingdom, Ile-Ife, actually move here and there, migrate from one region of Negroland, West Africa, to another Negroland, stating in his own that the ancient Negro warriors from Judas, which is Ile-Ife region, were of coast of West Africa. They organizes themselves as conquerors of tribe. They are Judah, we know from their biblical aspect that they were fighters, they were warriors. You can't run over them. They crush land, they were known as fighter of people. So this book is also referencing to their character, to their legacy, that they will organize themselves as conquerors of tribe and march in themselves in group to northwest African interior of Libya. And these Judea, which are better known as Ile-Ife area, were received by the Berbers army, who as long on the fight be, the Berbers has always been at the edge of the Libya, pushing back the Romans, who has long been trying to invade Africa. So it's like a resistant group of people who has always protected the continent of Africa. So the people of the Yoruba land, who are better than warrior, they had to go and meet the upper North African Berber armies to support them so that they can keep the Caucasian out of West Africa. That is exactly what this book is saying. And this Negro Judah intermarried at the Serenia and create an empire there, and they became an intermix, equally became a mixed descent of Judah. This is exactly what I'm saying. The Yorubas from Judah area, they move here and there, they mix up with the Berber people, and as long goes by, they eventually add a Negro mixed Libyan people. Ignore the Caucasian you are seeing across the North African region today. In ancient days, those places were used to be uniformly dominated by black people. The non-black skinned people you see over there today are a mixture of different invaders who have decided to invade that place and refuse to leave the place even after they've conquered the land. So it was all about the Negro and the Negroland, and each of the Negroland from the native understanding gave birth to the title that the Europeans now later coined around those regions collectively today, based on their division. Like number one, which is Negroland. Negroland means the blessed land, because Negro means the blessed people. Niga, Nija, Negro, Anago, Omologo, it means the blessed one, the God's choosing people, the God favorite, whatever. Their land is blessed, they themselves, they are people of, that is exactly the whole attribute surrounding the term Negro. And as the blessed people, their land now became the land of the blessed people, which is Ileawa Niogo, the Negro land, the land of the blessed. The idea of Sahel means, Sahel basically means barren or unfruitful land. It means a land that is not productive, like the Negro land at the coastal region of West Africa, where we can grow so many endless fruits, so many things. So Sahel was actually an indication referencing to the nature of the whole entire geographical location, which is barren land. This is why we have Sahel Asha-ile in Yoruba. It means Asha-ile. Ile is the land. Asha basically means the barrenness of the land. Why we have the Sahara? Sahara means barren land in a farther away from Negro land. Barren land which is more far away from the blessed land of the God's people, or the blessed region, which is Asha-ile ni Ari. And the barren land nature of Sahel basically resonated to why the inhabitants of those far away, which is Sahara region, were earlier known as the Berber. Because Berber, some historians still argue today that the Berber was derived from barbarian, because being a barbarian means you are cut out of civilization, and to be cut out of civilization resonated from you not being civilized, not being productive. I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the existence, the nature of the economy. This is all what basically. So there are deep understanding between this. In a nutshell, the Yoruba people's legacy stretch across today's Nigerian, and there are reasons why the European and so many foreign people have tried to limit the greatness of Yoruba people inside Nigeria. We know for sure, we know how it works, just as how they shrink the size of Africa. And when in reality, Africa is actually bigger than 2 European continents combined together, if not the 3. But today, they shrink the size of Africa because they know in an African mind, the bigger something is, the bigger we feel is superior. That is the nature of a man. Likewise, in today's Nigeria, there is a reason why they shrink today's southwest of Nigeria, where it's most populous. And if you leave southwest of Nigeria going back to the north, most land there are deserted land, inhabitable desert. As a matter of fact, part of the northern part of Nigeria, they are deserted regions that are not occupied. But likewise, in many cases in Africa, whereby they are portioned bigger country for them on paper, why the people in those regions are not even up to a village inside Nigeria. It's a game. I don't know how to say it. So we just need to think deeper. I'm not here to attack anybody. Everyone bears me a witness. Everything I'm saying are verifiable. So it doesn't matter whether you like it or you don't like it. They are all verifiable, and you can do more research around it. So this is what I can tell about the ancient Negro people regarding the Yoruba people's significant contribution as people who founded it and their ancientism as a collective confederation, united ethnic group of people that come together to form a great empire, an historical figure which the mainstream doesn't speak today. I will see you in my next video. Help me press the like button, make your comment known respectively. Thank you, everyone. And before I go, I need to remind you again, if you want to support me, my books are out. You can see it there on different on 4 different. You can support me by donation. You can also support me by buying my book. I will appreciate whichever way, because these are what keep me going. And those of you who have purchased it, I really thank you. We are just learning. Make your comment known below respectively. Kogba, Kodija. There is no cause for alarm. So I will answer the few I know I can talk to, I can respond to. I'll see you later. Everyone, thank you and bye for now.